All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Saige Academy in week 2 class, starting up the second week here on Monday. So thank you everybody for being here. What we're going to do firstly is, just before we get into all this, we're just going to talk about how our week has gone, because we haven't really done any classes over the weekend. So how has everybody's weekend been? Has there been anything new? What's been happening? Anything exciting?
Someone else go first.
Yes, well, I guess I can begin. I guess I can start. Just did a lot of yoga over the weekend. Actually, yesterday I did 2 classes back to back, so that was actually quite interesting. I'm finding a lot more inner peace with the ability of, like, I've done yoga a little bit here and there, 2011, and because my girlfriend's a yoga teacher, now I'm doing it a lot more. So did 2 classes yesterday. I'm just getting a great form of strength happening. Psychic Academy is again starting to grow a lot more. We do have a couple new students, I think, that will be coming up this week. So that's starting to grow a lot more. I'm just working to see if we get Psychic Academy out there a lot more. I think maybe if I use the word mindfulness, that'll bring a lot of people in.
Seriously,
yeah, I think that's really the plan. But yeah, the weekend has just been a lot of exercise, a lot of great work, a lot of positive energy coming through, and just seeing a lot of affirmations of positivity starting to come into my reality. So it was really great. And anybody else?
Well, I have incredible synchronicities all the time. One thing I should just add is that with respect to affirmations, I've been doing those for a long time. They're very powerful, and they probably build energy over time. So I've been doing 1 year of incredible number of affirmations. So I've had all kinds of synchronicities from I mean, literally in the last 3 days. For example, confirming that I don't have ADD. I mean, like a double confirmation, because I felt I cured that a year ago, and I knew that through my management of time, okay, that it was much better, mostly gone, because I'm not late for anything really. But I had an opportunity to do a task, an intellectual task that I would have normally procrastinated on or belabored intellectually, and I just whipped right through it. Very unlike me, the ADD me.
Yeah, very good.
That happened on Friday, okay? And on the same day, my son, one of my sons, he called me out of the blue, and he's in his late teens, and it was clear to me that he's wants to communicate with me and listen to me. He doesn't live with me, but very exciting stuff, because he's a very smart kid and he's actually open to learning. So he's beyond the I know it all phase, and that's a big deal, because I'm learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot here. So anyway, all kinds of stuff going on. Wonderful weekend.
Excellent, awesome, that's wonderful. Anybody else have anything to share?
Yeah, I went skating with my family yesterday, and my 2 boys, they were very afraid. They wouldn't even really want to go on the ice, and by the end, they were skating on their own. So we were all just excited.
That's awesome.
I used to be an ice patrolman back when I was 16. The funny thing is I didn't know how to skate either. So they basically just kind of threw me on the ice, and I was tripping and falling all over the place, which was great too, because I was in uniform, and I was just like terrified to go across the ice. So I was going like this, "Hey you, what are you doing over there?" And I'm just like slowly walking over there. I didn't know how to skate at all, but I was an ice patrolman, so
that's it.
Figure that one out, right?
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get this person at like 2 of those, those gate things, the compensated, the training things, like the little iron bar things. And so I was trying to go over to them and say, "Hey, you got too many of those. You can only have one." And I was trying to pick one up, and I fell right on my foot. Oh, that was fun. It wasn't embarrassing, right? So yeah, those are my old days, like 15, 16.
The interesting part was when we came on the ice, a little boy, maybe a 6-year-old, who knew how to skate. We never saw him before. Came right up and was just showing how to do it, and was always around like this sort of really positive influence. That was interesting, to get that synchronicity.
Excellent. Did you skate it too, or was it just your kids?
Hey, Fabian, did you skate?
Did you skate as well?
Of course. I was skating with my older son, and my husband with my smaller one.
So you can skate then?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But I did fall on my bum.
It happens. Well, thank you so much. How about Iman or Florence? performance. Do you guys have any interesting things happen over the weekend?
Not much interesting happened during the weekend, except that I noticed that it probably was the affirmations that were working, because I kept telling myself that I have unlimited energy, and all of a sudden I was doing all these things around the house that I usually sit down and say, oh, I'm so tired. But no, everything got done, and I was so surprised.
It's like, oh yeah, I mean, like I said, affirmations are really, really powerful. I mean, they've worked really, really great for me. Like, a lot of the affirmations that I do is basically sacred circuitry, which of course we're going to be getting into in the later weeks. But basically looking into something of that amazing personal power. You're just catapulting yourself into new horizons. It really is an amazing trait. That's why we continue to do it. And you'll see how all these things are coming together, because we are going to eventually direct a lot more of the affirmations into psychic ability. And so we're going to be seeing exactly how that comes together. So certain areas that you want to improve within your psychic fields, within your psychic senses, I should say, you'll be able to work on a lot more. So. Iman, how about
Okay, so yeah, I'll just say that I've been using the water affirmations a lot more in glass cups ever since we had that class, and I've been really enjoying it. At first, I was worried that I'd feel like it was another thing that I felt that I had to do, but actually, depending on my mindset, it's actually quite fun and powerful. And then the other major thing, I guess, that happened this weekend is that I officially moved out of the place I was at for university. So these few days, I'm actually with my parents, and I have personal hopes for what that's gonna evolve into, but for right now, that's where I am.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent. And like I said, all these opportunities can always come together. So if you feel that you're with your books for a certain time and you're ready to go to a certain place, well, there's always an opportunity for that. So it's just all being able to ponder where you feel you want to go, what you want to do, and then just being able to create those kind of goals that represent the affirmation, and you'll be surprised about how quickly it'll come along. We are going to be looking more into that as well. But again, thank you so much, guys, for sharing your weekend. So again, it sounds like everybody's had a great weekend. So we are going to go ahead today and get started. So we're going to work, first of all, with a meditation. After that, we're going to be getting into our affirmations and, of course, the water affirmation as well. Then we're going to be looking into chakra centers and feeling the energies of our chakra centers. We're also going to be looking into rotation of the chakra centers and why certain rotations are actually very important. We're also going to be looking into the physical and dream planes, seeing how they're in relationship with each other, and finding out exactly how we can cooperate, how their relationships, and how we're able to decrypt a lot more of the dream planes into the physical as well. Then we're going to be working with aligned thoughts. So this is basically just helping us to basically go through what's known as thought management. So we're going to start working on that throughout the week as well too, looking into thoughts that represent complement to ourselves. Then we're going to partner up, and then we're going to have intuitive readings. So just basically looking into each other's emotional states, feelings, anything like that may come up. Then of course we'll have an open Q&A and sharing. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started firstly just with the morning meditation. So let's just all get ourselves into a nice, relaxed, comfortable posture, making sure that our body is free of points of strain. We're trying to keep our spine nice and straight, not bending our spine or arching our back or anything like that. Just keeping a nice, natural, comfortable posture. And just go ahead now and close your eyes. And take a deep breath in through your nose. And out through your mouth. And one more time, taking a deep breath in through your nose. And out through your mouth. And we're going to start today by chanting 3 ohms. So we're going to chant 3 ohms together. So just breathing in, and as we breathe in, we're going to chant the first ohm. Breathing in. One last time. Just let yourself again sink into the purity of the sound of the Om that we just performed. And just let the resonance of that feeling reverberate itself through the cells of your body. And just feel that peace and that personal splendor as you connect deeply and deeply into your own inner universe. And just imagine that you are now afloat within this void that represents your own inner being. And that this void becomes filled with energies, with visualizations, representing your current state of being. That they are the symbolic mirrors, casting reflections in regards to your mood, to your alignment in this moment. Simply be aware of the mirror reflections that are being cast through the void. For you may sense many different things. But realize that these are all just reflections pertaining to your current thought patterns. It is all that is on your mind. It is all that represents your stuff here and now in this moment. And realize that you are not these thoughts, that these thoughts themselves are just part of the cycle of life that you have been a part of. And that they just represent the idea in regards to the connections that you have forged together through this reality, through the people you have interacted with, the situations that you have been a part of. Just send love to those thoughts, send love to those feelings, send love to those visualizations. Let them be at peace with you. Let them be in alliance. Let them be acknowledged by you. Even to where there may be certain thoughts that you may not be in agreement with, nonetheless, let them be acknowledged. Let them be realized that they exist within your mind. The realization is the opportunity for liberation as you work together in the middle ground of forgiveness. So let's just take a moment now to stay within our void and just to acknowledge these thoughts that we have. Observe these thoughts, these feelings. And let's bring a wide range of love and forgiveness to all of these thoughts, visualizations, feelings, so that they are harmonized with our being. Let's just take a deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth. Once again, giving love, blessings to our inner being, to our inner universe, love and blessings to ourselves, and love and blessings to all others, a part of this class today, and to all others existing upon the world. Sending that love, sending that appreciation, sending that divinity through your heart to the planet. We can now start to come back into the present moment, start to wriggle out our feet, wriggle out our hands, bring ourselves back into physical reality. When you are ready, you may feel free to open your eyes. I was looking in my void and said, what am I thinking about today? I'm thinking about absolutely nothing. I've got nothing in my mind. It's clear. I was like, come on, I gotta have something. No, like maybe I have a Guardians of the Galaxy clip in my mind. I watched that movie like several times already, so love that movie. Right. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to water affirmations. So again, if you guys have a glass of water, you can go ahead and just put it in your hand. Again, you pretty much know the drill, so to speak, of the water affirmation. So just being able to hold it in a posture that you enjoy, that you think is really good. And again, just being able to cultivate a positive affirmation in your mind, and just being able to place that positive feeling, that positive affirmation within your glass now. Okay. So let's just take a moment now and connect with the water. Send in that positive affirmation. Okay. So, again, water affirmation, just being aware about what you're able to put into the glass and just seeing how that plays out over the next few days. Again, really about acceleration in regards to how these things manifest is all based upon us. The whole idea is that the more that we stimulate our environment with action, the more that we're going to see these things happen. So again, if we just feel that we're kind of sitting on a couch waiting for our affirmation to happen, well, we haven't really done any type of interpretive process of action to making this come along much more quickly. So the best thing to do is just have associations of actions that represent some type of relationship with your own positive affirmation. And you're noticing how this is going to come together a lot more smoothly. That's basically just the process. Because again, if we don't stimulate our environments representing some type of relationship with our affirmation, this is where we wait a lot more. So again, stimulation of action is always very important. Okay, so now we're going to go into our personal affirmations now. So again, it could also be referred to as the two-sentence affirmation. I'll go ahead first, and I'll just start, and then we can just kind of go down the line. So my personal affirmation for today: I realize that there is a lot of busyness within my life that can sometimes cause distraction, but I realize that the core of my being is always here, and that I am allowing myself to enter that core of being, to become expansive, knowledgeable, and wise based upon the actions I have gone through. Okay. So a little simple one like that. Okay, so let's move down to Jason.
Mine's a little more specific, but I acknowledge that I have yet to fully be able to distinguish yin and yang qi within my body. I realize that I have the resources available and opportunities to master that.
Excellent. Wonderful. That's great, too, because we are going to be talking more about yin and yang. Again, we're going to talk about everything. That's great. Thank you so much, Jason. All right, let's move down to Iman. Iman, what would you like to share with your affirmation?
I was actually going to ask if you guys could help with the positive affirmation side of it. Okay. So I would have to say I acknowledge that I have not showered before this class, although I thought that I would.
So you have not with what for this class? I couldn't hear it.
I have not, like, I didn't shower before like attending this class, and I thought that I would, and it's not so much about the shower, it makes me feel like I never keep my promises to myself.
Okay. But you realize that promises are always there, and it really is just a personal journey to the action that you prefer. So again, that would represent positive. So even though you feel I cannot keep my promises, but I realize that all the actions that represent promises are available to me now, and I'm able to acquire them anytime. So just something like that, just being able to work together with, that happens to me at times. Sometimes I can't.
Actually, would this actually be the kind of thing that would require more of more time on the acknowledgement phase than the positive affirmation side? Because I could think of positive affirmations for this, but I'm having trouble with the switching the way I feel about it aspect.
Right. Well, that's the key. I mean, as long as you have the challenge, which is good, unless you have the idea of something that you're working on. So it's just being able in your own mind to say what would be the solution to that challenge. So again, like you said, just being able to look into the idea of not being able to keep my promises. Maybe I feel I'm kind of scattered with a lot of my thoughts, but realizing that there's always an opportunity right now that if I just center myself, I bring myself in harmony, and really ask what is it that I want, that is available to me at any time. So that's basically giving you a confirmation that in this moment, even though I haven't followed through with things, I'm now mindful of it. So now that I'm mindful of this, now I can take that action and make that into physical reality through it. So again, it's basically letting you know what's available to you right now. And that's really the solution-based affirmation. Everything is available to you right now as long as you realize it is. And now it's just about being able to follow through with it through action.
Right. Thank you.
So to some extent, your awareness of it, Iman, is the first step in having the solution. Just the fact that you're aware of it is a very positive thing.
True. I just feel like I've been aware of it for years now. But
there's awareness, but it's about action into awareness, right?
Yeah.
So now you're taking the awareness.
Now it's about switching the perspective to seeing that although it's something that feels almost chronic, it can still switch once I allow it to.
Yes.
So it's about focus, and so that's
It is about focus,
yeah.
but it is again just being able to walk the course, walk the path that represents what you want to do. So again, it's just asking yourself the big question: who am I? What do I want? And so that's really what I would be asking us. Okay, well, maybe I want to be able to pursue something with therapeutic arts. Maybe I want to do something with spiritual science. Maybe I want to do this or do that. And now I'm going to start paving a path to make that happen. So it is the action itself that is the confirmation to the solution. So by taking action upon it, the awareness is kind of like the bell that rings. Now that you've rung the bell, now it's being able to stand up and walk the path, and now the action is going to start becoming commemorative of the thought of clarity that has allowed you to walk that path. So that's the key. So again, the whole key here is that knowing is not enough. You must apply. That was actually a phrase from Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee has actually said this in the past as well too, is that it's great if people know things, but it's not about just knowing. It's all about applying. It's about taking action on that. Adronis has said on many occasions, knowledge is overrated, right? It's basically the same thing that as if we were here to acquire knowledge, we would take a straw and we try and suck up the entire ocean through our bodies. We can't do that. It's only knowing enough to grant enough wisdom within ourselves to move into the path that we prefer. The more that we unknow ourselves, the more that everything becomes good. It's basically keeping an empty glass and realizing that that glass is always continuing to be empty. That way you understand more things rather than feeling known. So again, look into the idea of application, of action, and that's going to move you further. Okay, great, thank you, Mom. Let's move on to Florence.
Yeah, I realize that I am challenged by my childhood programming, you could call it, the things that were taught to me through my parents and through society and the TV and everything like that. So my affirmation is that I am deserving and I don't know.
Well, again, you realize that, yeah, there's a lot of childhood programs, that there's a lot of things that you have been subjected to. But I realize now that I'm starting to filter everything that represents my truest joy and following that through to the letter. So that's the whole idea, is being that you have, again, this is kind of like looking at knowledge. Everything in regards to programs are still knowledge. And so now we're just taking all of those programs and we're putting little filters into them, because these filters represent our joy filters. So now we're taking the joy filters, we're just starting to stream that energy into us, and everything that represents the harmonious joy out of everything that we know is now becoming our wisdom. And so now we're walking rainbow wisdom. Right? That's the whole idea. You understand that rainbow wisdom is just all about the entire spectrum of knowledge, of everything that exists. And now you're just putting these little filters here, and you're taking all of that and just streaming it into your consciousness. So you're taking all of the good parts of the rainbow, so to speak, and you're making that into yourself, and now you're just starting to walk that path. So I realize I've been subjected to programs as a child and as a young adult, but I am now realizing that I'm filtering those programs into my most joyous actions, and I'm going to see them through. There's a really good, powerful application.
Yeah.
Just being able to filter that idea and just coming through with your joy. Here's the biggest thing, is that we're here to have fun. That's the whole idea of being here on this planet, is here to have fun. But in order for us to do that, we have to realize what's not fun within our life. We realize everything that's been, really not appreciative to ourselves, really something where we feel we have taken other people's responsibility upon us. And so we're taking all of that clamor, so to speak, we're filtering that out, we're putting it into ourselves, and now we're filtering this joyful energy, this loving energy. And now we can walk around the earth and we can have fun. That's the whole idea. We first realize what fun isn't in order for us to understand what fun is. That's our journey. So, yeah. Thank you so much, folks.
Yeah, Brad, can I just say, in my experience, I just totally agree so much. I find that a lot of people who are trying to spiritually evolve get very serious and very weighed down. Thoughts actually themselves are very heavy, right? But I'm actually not the way. I may appear that I feel very fortunate because I'm very playful and I can be silly but I think you're totally on that. You know, finding what excites you and having fun in your growth. But anyway.
Exactly. That's right. And again, that's what it's all about. We are here to, especially through the Society Academy, you know, we're learning a lot of stuff. But again, you guys will be able to pick and choose of what you feel works for you, because we can talk a lot about dream relationships, we can talk about chakra centers, we can talk about psychic readings, etc. But it's all about what you feel you prefer. Especially as a teacher as well, too, you're going to have your own curriculum. You know, when you get to the 100 hours and you want to teach your own class, you're going to get to that curriculum and you'll be able to develop your own. But again, it's being able to pinpoint the areas that you personally enjoy talking about. So again, this is all part of the academy. Everything that you're learning right now, you're just kind of sucking up. And then you just decide exactly, okay, well, I sucked up all this information. What's the stream that I want to create out of this vast ocean? So again, what we're doing is we're just taking this vast ocean of knowledge and we're creating it into our own little personal stream. That represents ourselves. All right, so let's move on to Fabienne.
Yeah, I acknowledge that I lack sometimes listening skills and listen through my own personal screen. And my affirmation is that I want to listen with an open heart and especially to my heart.
Mm-hmm. Now, that can be a big challenge as well. That's my challenge also at times, is that people are talking to me about their day, and you know, it can just be other things that aren't quite in my own type of level of spiritual work, etc. They're talking about how they fixed their car today, or how they took their dog to the vet. Or I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting. That's fascinating. Oh, yeah, I'm paying attention. Yeah. So the whole idea is that we really only listen more when we're actually interested in what's being said. That's the key. That's how we listen. If the person is really talking about one of our most favorite topics, where we're just completely undivided attention. We want to get that. So all we're attempting to do is adopt a lot of that facet of what we're paying attention to through our interest, and just being able to create a field out of that. And this is basically our awareness field. So again, there really is what's known as the love and listen principle. That the more that you're able to listen is the more that you're able to love. The more that you're able to love is the more that you're able to listen. So they really work together as a pair. So it's really just being able to take everything that we naturally have as interest and being able to create that as a field. Get excited about actually hearing yourself listen. That's actually a really good thing as well. Even if you feel the conversation over here may not be very, very exciting, you're actually giving yourself praise because you're actually taking the time to listen. So again, that's kind of a nice little tactic as well too, is that you're enjoying yourself having the ability to listen, even though the conversation isn't that strong. Because now it's enhancing your own memory, it's enhancing your own abilities to take in information, and it's actually helping you to adapt to flow as well too. The greatest way for one to flow when they're going into channeling or when they're starting to do a reading is when they listen. So just being able to listen to their body, listening to their voice, listening to their processes of what's going on in their mind. They're just listening. That's all it is. It's a complete and total awareness state. So again, very good affirmation there as well. I think that's something that a lot of us are attempting to get down. A lot of us hear, but we don't listen. So there's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, great guys. Thank you so much for sharing the affirmations. We do have to move on. So today we're going to be talking about the chakra centers, feeling the energies of them. Okay. So again, I know this is probably a lot of basic learning for you, but we do have the 7 basic chakras within the body, and this is all we're really going to be focusing on right now. We are going to be focusing on some advanced mechanics a little bit later on down the road. So we are going to be looking at the root chakra, which again is colored in red. We do have the sacral chakra, which is colored in orange. We have the solar plexus chakra, which is colored in yellow. We have the heart chakra, colored in green. We have the throat chakra, covered in like a beautiful turquoise or aquamarine green. Then we have the third eye chakra, which represents the royal blue or indigo green. And then finally we have the crown chakra, representing the violet. Okay. So basically, our chakra centers are always in kind of an automatic process. A lot of what they represent is that they do not exist within our physical density. The chakra centers themselves are swirling disks or swirling vortexes of energy. And basically what they're doing is they're helping to magnetically align ether and matter together. So they're basically helping to materialize everything that represents our body, everything that represents our field, and they also represent the interface, helping us to interface together with our reality through our senses. So the chakra centers themselves are really just doing a lot of work. But again, they really have a certain kind of interesting complex to themselves. When we start to look at our chakra centers, like sometimes we'll take out a pendulum and we'll go down to the root chakra, down to the base of our spine, and we'll just start seeing that the pendulum is just mimicking the spin of the chakra center itself. When the chakra centers are starting a very, very slow kind of spin like this would represent a state of, in a way, kind of an imbalance. Because again, certain chakra centers are meant to operate at certain frequency rates or certain spin rates. So when we're looking at a chakra center here that's kind of going very, very slow and slowly keep creeping along, so to speak, then we can kind of take a look and examine that chakra center. And sometimes it's kind of like trying to stir water when there's a bunch of these chunks of gravel into the water, right? So we're getting a lot of this kind of sludge. We're getting this kind of trudging along, trying to stir this. It gets a little bit more harder to stir it, right? So the whole key is that the chakra centers themselves can receive debris. Debris is basically something that has been set up emotionally. So there's a lot of emotional and mental barriers that have been created in our body, and this is basically creating this little sludgy kind of swirling motion with our chakra centers. So basically all we are attempting to do is looking into the aspects of the chakras, of why they may be spinning very, very slowly or very, very fast. If they're going very fast, then that's really good, and you're actually starting to get a very good healthy chakra center coming together. They usually spin, again, it's kind of hard to put it into words about how fast they're meant to spin. It's kind of like that rather than that, right? It also depends upon the direction that they're spinning in as well, too. But let's take a look a little bit more in the direction, because, again, we are going to be covering this a lot more this week. But the direction itself is that when we're starting to see it move into a clockwise direction, we're starting to see that is the direction of physical energy. The clockwise direction is the idea of how the ethers become material, about how energy becomes matter. That is moving into a clockwise direction. When we're looking into a counterclockwise direction, we're seeing how it works together with material being brought back into energy. So again, returning back into the ethers. So again, as you look into a lot of different forms of shamanic rituals, if you look into a lot of Indian rituals like fire ceremonies, etc., or medicine wheels, etc., a lot of the dances that they do can often be in counterclockwise. What they're doing is they're actually creating a vortex and helping to shift energy out from the planet back into the ethers to actually clear the energy of the space. So again, our chakra centers are doing this all the time. They can work together in clockwise or counterclockwise directions. It all just depends. Now there are times to where we need to tune into our chakra centers, and we just need to observe exactly what's happening. We're feeling a lot of pain in the belly, or feeling some cramps around the hips, around the legs, and so now we're just getting a healer, or we can, again, of course, learn to do this ourselves, is just being able to kind of close our eyes and just get a feeling about where our chakra centers are spinning, okay, and how fast they're spinning itself. So again, it's kind of like you're just kind of mimicking it with your hand. As you're putting your hand there, you're kind of just getting an idea. Okay, it's at a general pace, right? So again, some people may ask, well, is there like a certain barometer that I need to be aware of in regards to how fast it will need to spin? It's kind of just like imagining that if you were to put a spoon in a cup of water and you were just trying to stir in a light mix, just being able to stir it, kind of in that sense. I'd say about, one full turn every half second would be a very good, average type spin. So again, just being able to create one circular revolution every half second is about a good amount of flow. Again, when you're going into meditative states through these chakra centers, you're going to start seeing how they are starting to naturally increase a lot more. That it's almost going at the speed of light with a lot of these chakra centers, and that represents the idea of a Kundalini effect. So the Kundalini will actually start to come up through the body, working together with the chakra centers moving right up to the crown, and then just basically kind of creating this fountain effect, just coming all the way back down to the body and just purely energizing the body itself. So chakra centers will definitely start to improve their spin in meditative states. So when we really start to let go of these feelings of animosity, of pain, etc., and are really starting to feel very, very clear, chakra centers are going to start going like this, even faster, 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 right? But what we're doing, because we're not going to look at that too much today, what we're looking is just our natural process, in our natural state of being, where we are active, where we are focused, etc. We're kind of in the beta and alpha brainwave states. So we're just looking again at having that kind of decent flow, again, one full circle turn every half second. Okay. That would be considered, in our own way, as the natural pace for the chakra centers to work. Okay. So we're just being aware, firstly, of the type of spin that they are going through, the rate of the spin itself, and just being able to detect if there is any type of feelings or thoughts that are clamored into the chakra centers, preventing themselves from going at a peak rate. Now, your body can really tell you this a lot more. This is actually a lot easier than having to take a pendulum and go through each and every single one. What we're doing is, as we're developing our awareness, we're broadening our awareness a lot more, then our body is actually going to be able to tell us, okay, well, our root chakra is out of alignment. Okay, so if I'm looking at that and saying, okay, my root chakra is out of alignment, what's wrong with it? There's a lot of problems with survival. There's connections with, not being accepted by family, financial difficulty, etc. Okay. So it really has a lot of this type of barrier that's, again, creating this sludge effect that's just causing it to really, really go very, very slowly. And again, we're just talking to our body. Now, one of the ways, as talked about last week, that we can do this, just to start things off, is utilizing kinesiology, okay? So muscle testing. So being able to use muscle testing for your body to get simple answers in regards to our root chakra. So again, there are many different techniques you can do in muscle testing. Again, the one that I prefer is where you're holding your hand up like this, your left arm, or it can be your right arm, whichever side you are, and then just putting your wrist up, and then just being able to gently tug it down. Okay? So again, you're just keeping your arm at a nice natural balance. You're not straining it too hard, and you're not keeping it too weak. Just keep it nice and steady, and we can just ask ourselves right now, what is my root chakra strong? Okay? So mine is feeling pretty strong. Everybody else can do that as well too if they feel that the root chakra is strong. If you feel that you do get a weak root chakra, then you can just kind of look into that a little bit more. That's something to kind of meditate a little bit more into. But that's just giving you the indication, okay, that there is a particular blockage in the root chakra. If you feel you know what that blockage is, you can ask that question. Does it have something to do with, financial situation? Does it have to do with my living condition? And you can start being able to test that as well too. So the homework I'd like you guys to do tonight is just to work on the root chakra. Okay? I just want you to work on the root chakra. If you guys have already got the root chakra down and you're feeling fine with that, move up to the next one, move up to sacral. And just keep moving up until you feel that one of these chakras may have a type of discrepancy in it, because believe me, one of the chakras will. But again, if you do feel that the root chakra is your first place, then just go and work on, I guess the way I should put it is that the first chakra that you feel is imbalanced, that's the chakra that you work on. So again, if it is the root chakra, or if it is the third eye chakra, for example, just go ahead and work on that tonight. So I just want you to do some kinesiology practice. And again, just being able to really kind of scan your inner being and feel, okay, well, my third eye chakra is out of alignment. Why do I feel this is? Well, what does the third eye chakra represent? Well, it represents insight. It represents vision. It represents being able to foresee, the idea of concepts between space and time. So, what do I feel I'm blocked? Well, I'm starting to work on a lot more of my visualization. I don't feel that I'm worthy enough to actually get clear insight to help me upon my path. I don't feel that I'm very connected to Source. Those are particular forms of blockages as well, too. It's all about the idea of feeling that we are cut off to Source, or that we're not aligned to it. That can represent a particular blockage itself. So it's just being able to understand the fundamental principles of each of these chakra centers. Root chakra deals with survival. The sacral chakra deals with relationships, sexuality. The solar plexus chakra deals with your willpower, your well-being. The heart chakra, of course, deals with love and responsibility. The throat chakra deals with truth and wisdom, being able to express yourself. The third eye chakra, again representing the idea of insight, of luminous connection to source. Right? Then we have the crown chakra, which is your spiritual harmony, connecting to the spirit realms, connecting to the aspect of your higher self, your oversoul, bringing a lot of spiritual insight into your being. Okay? So we understand that these are just the basic forms that are giving us a template to work with in regards to areas where we feel belonged. Now, if you guys do have questions, of course, later on as you do your homework, then you can always post something into the Facebook group. Maybe you're stuck, maybe you need some help, so I can come along, or anybody else in the group can come along and help you out with certain things as well, too. So again, homework is just being able to use kinesiology to find the first chakra that you feel is imbalanced and being able to work on that. So whether it be the root or anything else. Okay. Any questions on the chakras so far?
So, yeah, I have a question, if you don't mind. What would it mean if I feel like right now I know like the issues? I mean, without doing that, I feel like, okay, this is probably the one. You know what I mean? Just what does that mean?
Well, I mean, you're good and you're done.
Okay, that's the second question. And this actually isn't necessarily my issue, but it's a periodic one. If someone gets very they lose grounding because they go off into the universe, because I can do that. I can go off into the universe.
Right.
Is that an issue with too fast a spinning crown chakra or something with the root?
It would be more so that the idea that the higher four chakras are more prominent in your reality. So if we're looking at ones where there's a lot more spiritual energy coming through, we're really kind of off in the imagination and we're not grounding ourselves, these lower three would actually represent an imbalance, because it's not the idea that they're maybe getting a lot of sludge in them, it's that we're not really paying too much attention to them because we're so used to getting back into spirit, to elevating our consciousness, to expanding ourselves. But again, what's very, very important is that, yes, we need to do that, but we also realize that grounding is helping us to create an anchor. And so what the anchor does, it's helping to pull a lot of this energy into our physical reality. It's basically looking at that old saying, bringing heaven onto earth, right? This is the whole idea of connecting the spirit realms into our earth consciousness. So we're basically bringing a lot of that groundedness technique. So it really has to do with a lot of personal care. It has to do with just being able to be very comfortable within your environment. It's being very, very comfortable within your body. These are the areas that you want to work on. So again, if you're feeling that, Jason, then that basically would want to be the areas that you want to work on, is the lower three chakras. So starting with the root, starting with the sacral, and the solar plexus chakras. So looking into the idea of your stability, of your ability to create life abundantly, relating to your spirituality. Being able to look into relationships, being able to look into sexuality. Again, that's something that represents a ground anchor. Being able to look into your willpower, your well-being, about how you feel overall in regards to the harmony of the self. So is the self feeling very, very harmonized as it grounds this energy together? You have a great deal of spiritual knowledge. Now it's just being able to create that vortex and bring that into your physical well-being. So look into your well-being, look into your relationships, and looking into your stability. And as long as you feel that there is some comfort there, then you're being able to achieve this as a grounding anchor device. And now you can bring all of that harmony from the heavens onto earth. That's basically what it is.
Excellent. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Any other questions in regards to the chakras? Okay, good. So everybody's very clear on that. So again, if you guys need help, that's why we have a Facebook group. So feel free to reach out if you do have that. Okay, so we do have to move on here. So now we're going to be looking into physical and dream plans. So I won't touch on this too much today because we're going to be doing this in more classes, but it's just giving a bit of an idea about what we're talking about here. So when we're looking at the physical reality and when we're looking at the dream planes, they do have association. They work together. The whole idea, the reason why a lot of us go off into the dream states is because, one, yes, it works to recharge our body, but two, we're actually looking into inner exploration. It is actually a spiritual journey every single time we go to sleep. We're actually looking into the orifices of our mind. We're looking into the octaves of our mind. We're looking into everything that we are creating relating to this self-collective. So the dream planes are helping you to understand your journey. They're helping you to resolve issues within your life. They offer symbolisms that can help improve your physical reality. They are communicative. You are able to communicate very well with the dream plane to receive additional insight in regards to how you wish to improve yourself. So really, the dream planes are just taking us more in a more unlimited way of understanding the universe of ourselves, because now we don't have restrictions. We can move through walls, we can fly through the air, we can change landscapes, we can attract people in our life who have passed on, etc. All of these projections that are present, telling us about ourselves. The dream plane is just giving us much more of a free-for-all understanding about ourselves. Really, that's it. You know, what specifically can it tell us? It can basically tell us anything that we want. It's all basically telling us what we're currently going through. It's just telling us our current state of being. Now, really, when we go into the dream plane at night, we're dreaming well over 1,000+ different dreams. Now, we're only aware of a couple of them, if that. Okay? So there are basically, if you were to see this as your physical body at night, you know, tucked in the covers, then basically your transient body or your astral body, your etheric body, etc., is splintering into all of these different realms, all different rays of colors, just like the rainbow, so to speak. And it's all splintering off into different realms of consciousness in a way to acquire a magnetism. This magnetism of the dream state is now just starting to feed back into our physical body because we are attempting to bring the wholeness of our being back together. So this is why we are splintering ourselves off into different planes of reality that work themselves through the entirety of our life. So, for example, we may have one dream, that happened last week, and now 5 weeks later, a lot of the elements that was contained within that dream is now starting to reversion itself into our reality. So basically representing the idea of maybe a new job coming together, a new friend that has come into our life, somebody who's passed away, being able to move into a spiritual awakening, etc. All of these dreams are just splintering back into our life. Again, we don't even recall a lot of these dreams that are actually happening. It's basically that it's kind of like looking into a server that is sending us a source transmission through our computer that's starting to send updates, right? So we're updating our bodies, we're updating our spirits, we're updating everything that represents the energy of ourselves, and it's coming into our being. So it's basically representing a matrix, kind of like how we would look at a switchboard, that we're plugging in all of these ports into these little holes, and that's basically what's happening to our soul. We're being integrated. We're being reinvigorated into the wholeness of our being through a lot of what the dream plane is attempting to share with us. The dream plane will tell you that, okay, I had this really amazing dream. I woke up the next morning and I just feel completely liberated. I understand what my dream has been telling me. And now we are able to go into this whole new life. Well, that represents an integration or an amalgamation effect. So when we're looking at an amalgamation effect, again, this is the word that Adornos uses quite often, amalgamation, is we're looking into how aspects of shards contained within the dream states are now starting to come back into the wholeness of our being. It's not just also the dream state as well. It's actually a lot of physical states. People are able to represent themselves as catalysts, and now they're telling us things that we need to hear that suddenly just click in, that suddenly make sense, and now we're able to walk that path and move into these whole new alignments that are bringing us more into a whole being. So this is how the physical and the dream planes work together in partnership. That through the physical planes, we're looking at a dream state as well. The physical plane is just as much as the dream plane in regards to metaphor, symbolism, opportunity to transform, etc. It just plays within different ground rules. So we have gravity, we have air, we have physical bodies, we have the idea of limited ideas of thinking, etc. So those are the ground rules within physical reality. The dream planes are just being able to associate themselves, I'd say about 90 to 95% based upon metaphor and symbolism to helping us expand ourselves. It's just us attempting to get to know us. And that can come in a majority of different ways. If we've been hurt in the past by parents or family, if we've had financial trouble, etc., our dreams are going to attempt to share that with us, but in a very, very cryptic sense, very, very, symbolic in that way, just to give us an idea. Now, why does that happen? Why do our dreams communicate with us so symbolically? Well, because the dreams themselves are architectured by our own higher self. Our higher self utilizes our subconscious to paint these canvases, so to speak. It's like it's just painting this beautiful painting, and it's very abstract, because the higher self has to follow a particular rule. That rule represents the idea of free will. Okay. It cannot violate free will. That's part of the game here. That's the kind of universe that we live in. We live in a free will universe. And because we exist in a free will universe, any particular type of assistance that we're attempting to get from our higher levels, from our higher aspects of consciousness, has to be very, very abstract. It's kind of like looking at a child where you're the parent and you're just kind of looking over their shoulder and you're seeing them really, really contemplative into figuring out a jigsaw puzzle. All right? You're not going to go over there and say, oh, no, come on, this piece has got to go here, this piece has got to go there, etc., etc. You're just watching over them, okay? And if they may turn to you and say, Mom, Dad, can you help? And all you say out of your mind is, red, red, and red. Well, there's a puzzle piece here that's colored mostly in red. Is that what they're saying? Is that what you're saying? You're just kind of standing there, just kind of smiling, right? They have to still figure it out, right? Because you do not want to go in and feel that you have to solve the puzzle for them, because that defeats the purpose of the learning, right? This is what the higher self is doing through our dreams. Our higher self is utilizing the powers of the subconscious to paint this beautiful abstract canvas with ourselves to help us complete this jigsaw puzzle of life. That's what it's doing. That's why the dreams are metaphoric. That's why a lot of the dreams are symbolic. It's not to say that some people, very, very rarely, so to speak, do get literal dreams and actually do get literal transformations. That's simply because they've aligned themselves to that point where they can get a vision and they can follow through. It's all been part of the permissions. There's green lights, so to speak, green traffic lights saying, okay, it's all right for him to receive this precognition. And being able to receive this vision, and maybe that moves you into a new point of action. It feels very, very literal. I have had those rare occasions.
So
basically, yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, no, so have I. I've had a few where the message, I've had ones where I wake up laughing because it's so easy to decode. I mean, it's just like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, exactly, because now there's less barriers. And that's the thing, is that the more barriers that are contained with a certain situation, the more cryptic the response will be. So the less barriers that are around it, the more it can be almost close to a very literal translation. Because they're just saying, like, okay, how do I move forward? Move your foot, right? Right? Simple translation, right? That's the whole idea, because now there's less barriers of saying, okay, we have to padlock this up, we have to chain it, we have to make this all locked down, simply because there's a lot of mental barriers. It's kind of like looking at the weavings of webs, right? So if we have a lot of strands of webs that are coming through in regards to certain situations, we just can't reach through. It's almost like you're just feeling a bit of a push in regards to all these silk webs that have been on the other side, but you can't make out what's happening. You just kind of feel that there's this push on the other side. You know that someone is attempting to intervene and assist you, but you don't know what's going on because there's so many contamination webs, so to speak. There's so much debris in the way that all you're really feeling is your higher self just pushing against this wall. And that's basically the symbolism right there. We can't get through because there's so much belief systems and so much morality programs that are so much in the way that we can't even interpret what's happening to you other than a push against a wall. Right? That would represent the metaphor itself. If we're feeling that, God doesn't exist, or I'm not worthy enough to be on this planet, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm a failure, etc., etc., etc. If that's our belief system, then we're going to have all these chains, we're going to have all these webs, we're going to have all these padlocks around ourselves. And that the dream can only really just give you very, very complex cryptic metaphor, because it's not giving you, it hasn't had the permission to really showing you a lot more luminous understandings that can be very simplistic to decode. As long as you pile on the belief systems, you're going to have a lot of challenges with decrypting a lot of these dreams. Okay? So it also will show you, the dream plane will also show you a lot of areas that you are abundant in as well too. It will show you that you're, areas where you feel very, very joyful, very happy. Maybe you enjoy going on a plane and taking a flight. Maybe you have a dream where you're just taking off on a plane and you're just going to the Bahamas, right? And just having all this insane, crazy, fun, spiritual energy flowing around you. The colors of the sky are radiant. You see people just in celebration, etc. That's representing good, happy times because the excitement to travel, etc. Oh, okay, there's something about Jamaica there. Hey, I've always wanted to go to Jamaica. Is that what my dream is telling me? Yes. So again, sometimes it's just being able to have a lot of your intuition together when you're decrypting these dreams. Because a lot of people that will go into dream decryption will just go ahead and buy like a dream diary or a dream dictionary, I should say, and just start looking up a lot of these terms. Okay, that's good. You can certainly use a dream dictionary, and you can certainly get familiar with certain forms of terms, but that doesn't always help. It's always about the idea that if you are questioning about what you're dreaming about, this is where you're attempting to open up the veils to your higher self, to your established connections as a psychic, as an intuitive. So again, as we've been talking about in week 1, we're looking to opening up our feeling centers. We're opening up the heart. We're letting the reality body become our full permanent body rather than just this. We open up our reality body. We're becoming much more allied to our feelings. We're opening ourselves up. We're feeling a lot more love in our heart. We're learning to listen. Now, intuition is very, very strong. Intuition can come back to us and give us understandings about a certain dream. Now it's giving us information that we require so that we can start to harmonize ourselves in certain areas. So if I have problems with finances, or if I have a problem trying to find a place, or if I have a problem in regards to trusting myself, now I have the opportunity for intuition to come through and just offer me these breadcrumbs about how I can continue to proceed in life. Okay? So that's what we're doing. It's just being able to open ourselves up completely so that intuition can be our true guide, so that now we can take intuition, we can translate that to the psychic senses that we have, and being able to make sense of what's going on. Does anybody have an example of a dream that they're looking to share that they maybe can't figure out?
Oh, can't figure out.
Yeah.
Oh, I have tons of dreams that I can't figure out, but I don't worry about anything. So if I can't figure something out, I don't worry about it. I mean, I have that built into me. There's a lot. I mean, I've had dreams like I can remember being. I mean, stuff like being on a bus. It seems like I'm always being transported somewhere. And the bus. I think I'm next to the bus driver, and they turn and they cut off a vehicle. It's like in the 50s. Mm-hmm. To me, it's almost like a past life. It's a weird thing. And like it cuts off a vehicle, and then I look back and I see it crash into a tree. I mean,
It represents a symbolism of avoidance. That's basically what it's telling you. Right? It's the idea that if you avoid this obstacle, this is what's going to lead into a calamity, so to speak. So it's giving you a symbolism altogether in regards to you in transit, you moving throughout your life path, realizing there's an obstacle, turning the other way, and if you do turn the other way, bam, it represents a calamity. Rather than being able to stop, be aware of your environment, so that this other car can pass through, right? So that basically just represents the idea of avoiding calamity.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good analysis.
Because that's the whole idea. So again, this is just intuition talking through me and saying, okay, well, that has to do with avoidance. Okay, being able to move that out of the way, crash into a tree. So that's the whole idea, is that stay upon the course, and you feel that something very shocking may come up in your life, and as soon as that shocking happens, you steer off in the other direction, and bam, it leads you to calamity. So this is basically what we're talking about. It's just looking into how these metaphors work, right? Because again, what does the bus symbolize? It represents going on a journey, represents going on, driving through your path, so to speak. The other idea of this, other car coming up just suddenly, and you're just swerving in panic, in fear, moves you into hitting a tree, and you hit calamity, right? So that's basically the whole idea, is that what happens when the bus swerves? Well, it's going to slam into this tree, and it's a chaotic situation. It's a catastrophe, right? That's exactly what the dream is attempting to tell you, right? And you know, the universe just has so many different ways of being able to bring this about. It's really, really beautiful about how the higher self orchestrates these dreams to giving you a message, right? So it's just being able to invite intuition in. Now, again, what happens is a lot of dream, I guess you could say dream decryptors, dream therapists in that sense, they really, really overanalyze a little too much. You know, that's just what I've kind of noticed with a lot of them. It's like, okay, you know, what kind of wheels did the bus have? You know, what kind of day was it? Was there sun shining in your face, et cetera, et cetera. It's really just looking into the basis of the message. You know, the whole idea is that you don't have to be so overly analytical about the dream metaphor. Look into the idea of the basic elements. Just looking into the idea the bus represents your life, your soul path, your soul journey. Another car comes in, this represents an obstruction within your life. Was it a Mazda? I don't know. You know, just being able to swerve out of the way and hit a tree. So again, it's giving you the essence of the basic principle relating to the tree. Oh, what kind of tree was it? Was it an oak tree? Yeah, okay. Yeah. You know, that's dream therapists. So it's just being able to take the basic elements of the dream and decrypt it. You don't have to worry about going so deeply far into it unless you feel that there's a guidance to do so. Unless your intuition is telling you, well, be mindful of the key that you had in your hand. Remember what color it was. If your intuition is telling you that, then yeah, go ahead and look into that. But if you feel that there's an ability to get the basic message out of a dream, that's the key itself. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Florence. You had a question?
Yeah, I don't have a specific dream, but I have a reoccurring theme to a lot of them, to that degree that I'm beginning to recognize it in the dream state.
Yep.
And that is there's many times children appear, and if it's not children, it's small animals, baby animals like kittens or puppies, usually kittens. Once it was chickens, but okay.
So do you know what that dream is trying to tell you?
I have no idea.
It's bringing you back into the connection of your innocence. So it's basically attempting to stimulate joy within your heart. Look into the joy of every situation. So no matter where you go on the dream plane, now you're seeing kittens, now you're seeing chickens, now you're seeing children. All these things that represent the innocence of joy, right? Look into the innocence of joy with every situation that you go through, right?
Yeah, but I usually feel like I've got to take care of them. I've got to protect them and take care of them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that can come up, but really all they're attempting to show you is that we appear when you're in joy, right? So it's basically giving the idea that what you're doing is just your own connection to joy is what keeps them safe. That's the whole idea, because if you feel that you have to go into defensive mode, you may actually start to realize that those energies start to dissipate away, right? So it's not about the idea that you need to protect them or anything like that. As long as you are immersed within the joy that they represent, they will always be fine. They will always be together with you. There can be no harm together because you're all operating on a very high love frequency, right? But it's telling you that certain situations that come through, as you're talking about, that there are many different levels of your dream that come together, certain situations, and that they just appear, poof. And these represent part of your innocence. They can represent animal guides, they can represent your inner child, etc. But they're basically just telling you about the joy of innocence and looking into the joy and innocence of every situation that you go through, because they're attempting to stimulate more joy and more innocence into your life. Now, do you guys know what I mean when I'm saying innocence?
Please elaborate. Go ahead.
All right. So let's take a look at the idea of innocence. When we're looking at the idea of innocence, we're looking into the idea of purity. When a newborn baby comes upon the planet, they are a fresh, pure aspect of source because they have no ego that represents programming, right? Their ego is just very, very grounded in keeping them contained and enjoying every single moment of life. They're fascinated by everything. This is the idea of innocence. You are in your essence, right? That's basically what it's attempting to say. You're inside the purity of your own essence. And that's what it is when you're looking at innocent children or an innocent infant, etc., innocent little animals, etc. They are all within their essence. They're contained in the idea of the essence of purity. Right? So when I'm saying that you're looking into your joy and your innocence, you're looking into the purity of everything that brings out joy through your essence, the source. Right? So this is really representing that when you are innocent in life, you are very pure to source. You're very connected. You feel one with spirit. You're bringing heaven onto earth. You know, you are a human spirit, a spiritual human. All of that together. So this is basically what innocence is intended to tell you. So we basically just look into the dissection of a lot of words. We're looking into sense. So we're looking into the idea of essence coming together from within. Right?
Excellent.
Okay, guys. Yeah, no problem. So we're going to move on with that. We are again going to talk more about that later on this week. We've got a lot to cover this week. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next part, which is working with aligned thoughts. Okay. So this is again the second course of your homework tonight. This is where we're going to be looking into just positive thoughts. I want you to basically create a strength montage, so to speak. All right. Everything that represents strength. Everything that represents your attributes. And you are going to align with those thoughts. Not only are you going to be aware of your strengths, you're going to take those strengths and you're going to apply them into your life. Okay? It's not about knowing, it's about applying. Right? So we want to be able to look into the areas that we can apply. So I'm just going to go down the line here. Just one strength that you guys feel you have. Jason, what's one strength that you feel you have? That took a while.
Well, I mean,
I'm charismatic. Great, excellent. There you go. That's awesome.
confidence.
Confidence, absolutely great. Good. Iman, how about you? One strength.
Can we move on to someone else while I think about it?
Okay, we can move on, but I'll come back to you. Okay, Florence.
I would say that I get along with just about everybody.
Okay. So again, very, very cooperative, very loving. Sounds, yeah.
I don't know about that, but I get along with everybody.
That means you're cooperative, right? I mean, you're able to listen to them, you get along with them, you're loving. You know, you have a loving attention to being able to cooperate with people. So yeah, that would represent it. Fabienne, how about you?
Or you're mute. You're mute, Fabian.
You're muted.
And now I have a voice. I'm imaginative and artistic.
Great. She put two in there. That's good. Okay, that's great. All right, Iman, I'm going to come back to you. What did you think of for a strength?
Okay, well, I actually just think of multiple, but I think I feel right now is just I'm enduring and I'm optimistic.
I could give you one as well, too. You have great sight. You have great visualization. You're able to really see things very, very well. So you have a very good state of insight.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say she's intuitive. I mean, she's basically intuitive, yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's good that you endure. It's good that you're persistent. That kind of represents a trudging quality in regards to moving positivity, right?
Yeah.
If I endure everything, I get punched in the face. I'll endure, and I just get knocked out, right? So it's all about being able to realize, let's not look into the transition into positivity. Let's see exactly what is a positive. So again, being very, very insightful, being able to have that kind of vision within your mind. That's what I can detect very strongly within yourself. You have great vision. So that can be a strength.
Thank you for that, Brad.
You're welcome.
I was feeling the heat all throughout my body, like, whoa, really? Okay.
No, that's great. And here's the funny thing: is if I was to give you guys, what things do you guys want to work on? I could give you 1,000,001 things right away. Everything that we feel is our challenges, we have no problem talking about. We have no problem being able to identify that. As soon as we mentioned our strengths, a lot of it is just because we're very modest. We don't want to brag about ourselves, we're boasting, etc. And it's not about that. It's just being able to note that you have a type of strength. Even if you just have one strength down on your list, that's something that can cultivate many. So again, looking to the idea of being a visionary, looking to someone who's very, very insightful. Someone who, again, empathic, being able to look into people's feelings, feel people's feelings, being very much in touch with your own. So again, this is what I really want you guys to do. Before your next class, have at least 3 strengths. Okay, so just being able to create 3 strengths down upon yourself. And I also want you just to create something of those 3 strengths that you have a game plan to apply within your reality. Okay, so this is again looking into the 3 strengths that you have. And as you start to apply, you're noticing some of the challenges that you're going through. But now you have these 3 strengths. They're kind of like your superhero powers, so to speak, right? They're giving you the strength and the necessity so that you can overcome a lot of these challenges and bring a lot of these forms of what you really want to have in life together. Okay? This is all part, again, of our psychic nature, being able to have natural confidence, being able to feel that natural intuition, that connection to Source, because now we have the strengths to love and listen. So within those love and listening strengths, we have the list. And as you go throughout the week, you'll just move into more strengths. You'll start writing down more strengths. You'll continue to categorize them. Start with 3. In the next class, I'll probably say, okay, I want you to get 10 more. Right? So I want you guys just to have this huge, gigantic montage of strengths. Right? That's the whole key. Create a vision board as well, too, if you want. Being able to notice what your strengths mean to you. So if you're a visionary, if you're very, very cooperative, if you're loving, create abstract images on a vision board and saying, this really represents me. You want to share that in class as well too. You printed it out and saying, here's my vision board. This represents my strength. Wonderful. That's creative, right? And then you can just basically take us through the entire tour, so to speak, of the vision board and finding out exactly why you place those certain images down. But for now, all you have to do for the next class is just think of 3 particular strengths. And again, if you start to dwell into how those strengths are going to help improve your life, that's great. That's a bonus. But we are going to be working together with that in class next time as well. Okay. So I'm just going to leave that with the line thoughts because that is something that we're going to be getting back to in other classes. Okay, so now we are going to partner up. We're going to just do some intuitive sensing. So basically what this means is that I'm just taking a moment to look into my partner, so to speak, and just get any kind of feelings. It doesn't have to be anything. You're not doing an actual reading. You're just getting feelings from that person. You're just getting a sensation of what they may be going through right now, and just being able to open yourself up. So before you go into your partners, I just want you just to make sure that before we begin, you're just taking a moment to clear yourself. You're coming into center. You're keeping yourself nice and neutral. Some people may say, oh my goodness, I can't do this, right? That's not why you're here. You're here to know that you can do this, right? So really being able to have that natural confidence. Again, this is why your strengths are important, because you know you can actually do this. You know you can look deeper into a person, okay? So before we get into the readings, just make sure you take a minute to center yourself and really come into that state of neutrality. So I'm going to get Jason and Iman to work together. Actually, no, hang on. Because Fabian and Florence, our mother and daughter, we're going to look into Fabian.
We're not related.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay, so I'm going to get Iman and Florence to work together, and then I get Fabian and Jason to work together. Okay. So if you guys want to make the person's screen bigger, just click on their square, on the little square there in the corner. Just click on that, and you'll get them on full picture.
Don't get scared, Fabian.
Yeah, I'm with Fabian now.
So Jason, I'm going to get you and Fabian to go first. You guys can just kind of choose who you want to go first. Jason or Fabian, whoever wants to go first, again, just give yourself a minute to neutralize and just center yourself. And when you feel you're ready, just look into the image of your partner and feel free to take it away when you're ready. So Jason, would you like to go first, or Fabian, would you like to go first?
I mean, I'll go first.
Okay.
I mean, my sense is from Fabian. I sense optimism. I sense ability. I do sense creativity. I sense some calmness, and potential and skill. I feel that she's somewhat relaxed. Would be my sense, and that bodes well for her naturalness coming through.
Okay. Fabian, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So now, Fabian, if you just want to take a moment now, just neutralize yourself, and when you feel ready to read Jason, you may proceed.
I get a very high energy from Jason. Probably his health is really good too. And a lot of optimism, which helps with his future a lot.
Very good. Okay, excellent. And Jason,
So I have a few more days to live at least.
To the day?
No, I would say that's a pretty.
I
would say that's a pretty good assessment. I would say.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. And that's it, guys. So we're just being able to really get a feeling of each other. We're not going too much into the deep readings. We will be getting into that eventually. But all we're doing is just getting used to the feelings as they're being translated as we open up our hearts. You know, that's one of the biggest things as well too when you're going into neutrality. Just kind of imagining that your heart is a door. And you're just opening this door and you're seeing all this light come out, and just shining that light towards your partner, and just feeling what this light is attempting to translate back to. So we'll move on to Iman and to Florence. So why don't we have Florence, if you'd like to go first, and just being able to read Iman right now just in regards to any feelings that she may be going through, and neutralize yourself first, and when you feel ready, take it away.
I get the feeling that she is holding something back. She is unsure of something that is happening in her world right now. It's like oh. Yeah, she's holding on to something very, very close and doesn't really know what to do with it right now, but is very hopeful that somehow it'll work out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Iman, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it was very good. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I've been working on exactly what it is that I'm holding on to that I need to let go. I think I have a partial picture, but not a full picture of what it is. I know that it's around the responsibilities that I've taken on to do with the expectations of my parents. I don't have a full picture of what I still have to let go. I know that I've healed a lot in the past week.
Yeah. A lot of it is expectations of others, and feeling that that overshadows a lot of your own personal expectations. So it really is feeling of not wanting to let other people down, and that's the key. And just feeling that if I let people down, then I feel like I betrayed them, etc. So again, this is what you are as well as you're a very loyal person. A lot of people like to come to you because they know that certain things will get done, and certain things will get applied, because you have that kind of faithfulness and loyalty to them. So that's, again, a lot of things that's kind of dwelling within yourself. So you're getting a lot of people are kind of stepping forward and you're kind of stepping back. So it's being able to move that step forward for yourself so that you can realize that you're on the same amount of light as they are. So again, there really is no superiority or inferiority. It's just being able to really take into treasure what you know you can offer to life. And that's the key. And it's not about that you need to follow through with other people's demands or other people's expectations, because you'll never meet them. It's impossible. You'll never be able to meet another person's expectations. Eventually, it's going to fall apart, because that person is not you. You're not that person. The only person you can ever count on is yourself. That's not to say that you're not going to help other people. You certainly can, but help comes through the fulfillment of the self that can then assist to help others. So that's, again, what you're going through at this point.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, Iman, when you feel ready, just feel free to take a moment just to neutralize yourself. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and do a reading on Florence.
Well, it's interesting what you said about animals coming up in her dreams, because I do feel like Florence has a very innocent curiosity about her, and I feel like she's authentic and that everything is already on the surface, and I feel like she's very, but I feel like I feel like what you see is what you get with her. Not to say that we can like know everything about her, but what I feel is that she's not someone hypocritical. That's what I'm trying to say. So I feel like she's very pure and about her feelings about other people. So that's what it is. So with regards to how she interacts with others, I don't feel like there's too much of a chess game going on in her mind. It's very innocent and pure, and her curiosity is genuine, and yeah, and that's what I'm getting.
That's good. Oh, that's really good information. And Florence, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, thank you very much. That was nice to hear, especially about the part about what you see is what you get, because yeah, that hits the nail on the head.
I sense that as well too. Yeah. It's very good, but that's good too because that represents an authenticity yourself as well too, and so you remain very, very authentic to a lot of people that are in your life, and just saying, okay, you know, this is who I am, this is how I act, this is how I behave, this is natural me, right here in front of you. Take what you get, right? That's it. All right, guys. So wonderful, very, very good first class of the week. So we're going to just take a moment now, just if there's any other Q&A or sharing that anybody would like to do. Do you have any open questions in regards to what we discussed today or in the past week?
Hey, Brad, I have a question regarding, if you don't mind, the dream plane, and I think you said 90 to 95% are actual dreams or
are symbolic. Yeah, very metaphorical.
Okay, what about the other? What about the other 5 to 10%?
5 to 10% would be actually not really dreams, so to speak. They could be perceived as dreams, but they're more precognitive visions. So you're actually getting a lot of these precognitive visions within dream states. So let's say, for example, if you see yourself next week driving a car, and all of a sudden you hit a guy's bumper and you get into a minor accident, and then all of a sudden, you know, a week later that happens, then that's giving you the idea of a precognitive vision that is happening in your dream plane. Right? So you can get that. That usually happens about 5 to 10% of the time within dreams. So it is quite rare, but there are, you know, people who have been able to do that. It all just depends. I mean, everybody's really different. There are a lot of people who I've talked to who actually feel that they don't even get dreams so much. They're constantly getting visions. They're getting visions of the future. You know, they may or may not happen, but a lot of what they get are basically just precognitions or visions that represent their dreams, simply because they're representing themselves as seers. Right? There's a lot of energy within their own matrix that's helping them to actually become interventionalists. Now, this is actually what happens, is that some people, and again, it's not a lot, it's only a small few, will actually get visions of events happening. And what they're attempting to do is actually become interventionists. The reason being is because a lot of what they have done in previous incarnations have been seers. So they've actually worked together very, very extensively with psychic ability, and they were able to get these visions, and they were basically meant to report a lot of what they were receiving. But because, again, everything is just in different arrangements for modern times, they just feel very, very frightened by those images. They feel very, very frightened by those visions, and they're not able to really share that. And this will only start to intensify more and more and saying, hey, you know, this is a gift that you've been given. This is an intervention. You know, you're an interventionist. You're a seer. So it's being able to take some of that information and pass that out to public awareness, to bring that out into public knowledge. And this is why people just get so scared. I've talked to people that just have, you know, maybe not all the time precognitive visions, but they just get a lot of the time precognitive visions, and they don't know what to do with it. It gets scarier and scarier and scarier. And so I basically would tell them that while they're becoming very scared because you're not sharing them. You're not sharing them with the world because you know that this is constantly happening a lot more, and the people involved, etc., are a part of it. So being able to share it in any way, being able to write a blog, doing a radio show, doing videos, you know, talking to people on social media, you know, talking to your friends, etc., talking about it, that's the whole key. So there are certain seers in the world that have had this profound ability through many different lifetimes that are now here again, and they're attempting to make sense about what they're going through. So that, again, can happen. But again, if we're looking at commonality, so to speak, about 5 to 10% of the dream planes are very actual, precognitive or literal, and then the 90 to 95% would be that of metaphorical, symbolic fiction.
Thank you, because yes, basically I feel like exactly 5 to 10% of my experiences, it's like I know when there's a dream and not a dream. So I've had a few things I'm like, that wasn't a dream.
Yeah.
and it's been just like you said, but I don't necessarily see your stuff, but thank you. I get it.
And sometimes it can just be literal translation. Again, you just know exactly what you have to do and what the dream is saying. So again, it doesn't have to be so cryptic. Again, the less that there's cobwebs, the less that there's padlocks and chains around it, the more that the dream itself can become a lot more revealed to you from what's being shared from the higher self directly to you.
Is that the same as a déjà vu?
A déjà vu is basically just a form of situation that you're meant to look deeper into. So the whole idea is if you feel, if we're looking at the movie The Matrix, where a black cat is walking down the hallway, turns back around, goes back around, sees the same black cat again. Really, it's just the whole idea that you're attempting to look into a deeper situation of what's being shared. You're not actually looking at the identical form, but you're looking at something that's very, very similar to it, and almost a state of identicalness. But it's only because you're meant to look at something that had escaped your attention the first time that really represents a state of significant importance. So it's almost in that sense doing a double take, so to speak, a double checking in regards to an event that could be very important for you.
Yeah, my son has
It just attracts that.
Okay, so it's not the same as a dream.
It is. Well, I mean, it is kind of in a way, but it's just a dream with a certain form of message to it, in regards to kind of a double look, a double take, so to speak. Okay. Anybody else? No, we're good. Okay, guys. So we are going to wrap up the class today. So again, look into the chakra assignment. Again, if there's one chakra out of alignment, look into the depths of that through kinesiology. And again, additionally, you can feel free to tap into your intuition about what you feel, what may be blocking that particular chakra. And of course, secondly, being able to write down your strengths. So having at least 3 key points with your strengths and seeing how you can apply that into physical life as well. So when you come back the next class where you guys are together, then we're going to be looking into that further. Okay. So thanks again, everybody. Have a really wonderful rest of the day, and we'll talk to you guys in your next class. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.